Hello everybody, really missing not seeing you all, but hopefully we'll be back in the studio as soon as physically possible. Anyway, I've put together a series of videos for different levels so you can all continue doing some Pilates at home. This is the intermediate class. Now I am going to do it just with a mat, assuming that most of you don't have a ball, a band or a foam roller at home. I will do more videos which will incorporate that small bits of equipment so those of you who have it can use it at home. If you don't happen to have a mat at home, you can still do an online delivery via Amazon or whatever. Or you can alternatively just literally get a couple of large bath towels, lie them down, but what you mustn't do is ever do any work on a hard surface. You will hurt your back, you'll bruise your spine, you'll bruise your knees, you'll bruise your elbows, hands, wrists, whatever. So let's begin. I have done a video, just a recap video on what is neutral spine, how you should hold your spine and how to breathe most importantly. So have a quick look at that if you want a quick refresher about some of the terminology that I will be using in this. But let us begin. So we are going to start by standing feet hip width apart. Little posture check before we start. So feet hip width apart. Unlock those knees. Just feel the glide of the sort of cartilage inside that knee joint. And then come up to your hips. Let's tilt your pelvis forwards and backwards and place your pelvis in neutral, please. And then you're going to come up to your chest. Lift your sternum, your breastbone up towards the ceiling and just grow taller. Imagine you've got a string pulling you all the way up towards the ceiling. Now, I want you to start breathing very, very deeply in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Expanding that rib cage as you do it. It's very difficult to talk whilst you're doing deep breaths, so you're going to continue with that really deep breathing. I'm going to show you how your rib cage should be moving. Breathing in very deeply. Rib cage pushes out to the sides and then release back down. Try not to use your shoulders when you are doing a breathing and try not to use your tummy. Get the rib cage to do the work. The diaphragm is one of your core muscles and couldn't be more important right now to strengthen it and train it. Keep breathing. So I want you to breathe in very, very deeply in through your nose. And then when you get to nearly the top of that breath, inhale sharply 3 times. And then breathe out through your nose. Now what you just felt working was your diaphragm. So I would like you every morning when you wake up to do just a couple of those really deep breaths, getting oxygen flowing through your body. First thing in the morning, wake you up, helps everything fire up. Right now, we're going to start loosening out those muscles. At the moment, let's face it, all of our stress levels are probably pretty high. Homeschooling, worrying about sort of older relatives, worrying about friends, family. But we're going to get through this, and we're going to get through this healthily and happily. So bring one arm up and over you go. Now, the purpose of this stretch is to get a lengthening between the top of your hip and your lowest rib. So over you go the other way. Make sure you keep both feet firmly planted on the floor. So the stretch comes through the waist. Don't pull on the arms. You don't want to pull the shoulder out of alignment. It's just slow and gentle, mobilizing the spine one side and then the other side. And then let's move into a little bit of rotation. Rotate around through one side and then back. And then round through the other side and back. And again. And again. Last one on each side. This time let your pelvis go, rotate all the way around, back to the middle, and then all the way back around the other way. Now, I'm going to turn side on so you can see the angle of my spine. I'm going to focus a little bit on spinal alignment in the next couple of exercises. So, I want you to now stand with your feet a little bit wider than hip width. Grow taller. We're going to squat down. That means you keep your knees over your heels as much as you can, or ankles rather. Squat down, lift your arms up. Now, if you have a look at my back, you can see that my back is straight. well, it has a little bit of a dip here. That's what I want, a neutral spine alignment as you squat down. This is the safest way to squat. I expect some of us will be busy doing lots of gardening in the time that we suddenly now have at home. Please be careful when you're bending down doing all of that hard work. The ground is still very wet, sadly, and that you protect your spine by keeping your spine in neutral as much as you possibly can. Now, you're going to stay down there. Biceps beside your ears, and push your arms up behind you. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then put your hands behind you, palms up towards the ceiling. That's this time. That's good. Brilliant. Push up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. Keep your knees bent as you release your hands down towards the floor. I want everyone to try and get their hands down towards the floor. Fingertips or palms of the hands, doesn't really matter. But then start straightening your legs as much as you can, keeping the hands on the floor, please. So you get a stretch all the way down the back of the legs, but all the way down your back, down the spine as well. If your hands are not flat on the floor, it really doesn't matter. Keep those knees slightly bent so that you can still feel those stretches. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, just let gravity pull you a little bit closer to the floor. And then start stacking yourselves all the way back up again. 1 vertebrae at a time. Now, let's go into a little bit of lunge work. Let's go left foot forwards, right foot back. We're going to stretch out your hip flexors. I bring my hands up for this. You can alternate them if you like. I prefer just to have them holding like this. So lunge down. Now I want you to feel a stretch going into that hip flexor. Now, everyone feels stretches differently, as we well know, those of you who come to my classes. So push your foot back a little bit further if you need to. But I'm getting a good stretch across here, which is where I want you to feel it. Breathe in. As you breathe out, sink a little bit deeper into that stretch, and then lean over towards your left-hand side, or the side where your front knee is bent, I should add, if you started on the opposite leg. That's it. And then come back, and then we're going to lunge down 6 times. So down. My knee is touching the floor lightly. Yours does not have to, okay? Down. And 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then 6 little bounces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Brilliant. Shake that out, and then we're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. Now, some of you might be now doing working from home scenario. It's not easy. It's pretty hard on your backs actually. So lunge down and get that stretch down that hip flexor. That's it. That's good. Breathe in, and then as you breathe out, reach over. Come back to working from home. When you're sitting down all day, particularly if you're sort of ending up now having to work at a sort of kitchen table surface, the chairs are not designed for you to sit down all day and work. So your hip flexors here, sitting down, will get tight. So I would encourage you and encourage your other halves, whoever it might be who's working hard at home, if they're sitting down at their desks, kitchen table all day, to stretch out their hip flexors at the back. It will help prevent back pain. And then 6 little pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stand yourselves up, shake your legs out. I'm just going to stretch out your quad muscles very, very quickly. If you need to grab hold of something for a little bit of support, please do so. But you're going to grab your heel and push it up towards your bottom behind you, and just get a stretch into that quad muscle. Good work. I am going to be doing more of these videos, by the way. It's been proving challenging getting them done. My phone kept on falling over, as in crashing halfway through recordings. The GoPro recorded things in small sections and I couldn't splice them together because I'm a technical numpty. But hopefully we're getting there. Then I'll move on to the next challenge of uploading them on a snail speed broadband. Stand towards the back of your mat and we're going to get down onto the mat. So standing up tall, drop your chin to your chest and just start rolling down. So your head is heavy, your arms are floppy. When you're about a third of the way down, suck your stomach up into your diaphragm and continue to roll all the way down. As you do that, you should feel a lengthening going down in your back. Roll all the way down and walk your hands out into your all fours. Now I know some people do not enjoy being on their wrists. If that's one of you, you can go onto your knuckles or you can get a yoga block and put your wrists on a yoga block like that. But basically, all of you are going to be in a quadruped position. So your knees need to be directly over your hips and your wrists, elbows and shoulders all in line. Breathe in. As you breathe out, squeeze your abdominals. Let's engage those abs. And then with the next out breath, you lengthen your left leg behind you. When you have found your balance, lift those toes gently off the floor and then reach your right arm out in front of you. Hold it there and squeeze. Breathe deeply in and out and in and out. And then move your arm and your leg off center, so you move it away from your body basically. So you're challenging your balance a little bit more. Make sure you're not wobbling, make sure your hips stay square. And then bring that hand back, bring the knee back. Release the hand back down to the floor with control and your knee returns to the starting position. Let's reset that spine into neutral. Breathe in and then as you breathe out, lengthen your left leg behind you and then hover those toes off the floor. Squeeze your abdominals, reach that opposite arm. Left arm reaches out in front of you this time. Breathe in and out. Keep breathing, that's good. And then again, move your arm and your leg off center. Bring the hand back, bring the knee back down again. Let's release out your back. So you're going to do a cat and a cow stretch. Push your spine all the way up to the ceiling and then release down, tailbone out, head comes up. If anyone is feeling sort of muscular tension in their backs, this is a really good exercise to release out those muscles. And go again, pushing the spine up, head drops, tailbone tucks under. Tailbone goes out, spine drops, head comes up. Return yourself back to neutral or thereabouts, doesn't have to be precise, as I want you to start sort of wagging your tail from one side to the other side. Perfect. And then sit back onto your heels, just stretching your shoulders out. Now, we're going to move into a plank. Oh yes, we are. But super important that you are in the right position to do a plank. So, you're going to come down, hips go down, elbows directly underneath your shoulders. So, you would imagine you're almost reading a book on a beach. Those days will return sooner rather than later, hopefully. Right, you can tuck your toes under if you intend to go up onto your toes. Otherwise, just have your feet flat because you can do a very good plank just on your knees and you're still working super hard. That's what I'm going to be doing today. Right, now breathe in. As you breathe out, squeeze those abdominals. So brace the abs and then push your hips up. So you are in neutral. What I don't want to see, you stay there, but what I don't want to see is people doing this. That is not a plank, that is hurting your back, or this, that is putting too much strain into the lower back. Keep your spine in neutral, and we're going to hold it here for another 40 seconds in total. If you begin to struggle at any point, you just simply release all the way down to the floor, to where we were at the beginning when we were setting the position up. After about 60 seconds of holding a plank, you start burning fat, by the way. So the challenge for us is to hold a plank for up to 2 minutes. There is really little, if any, point to hold a plank for longer than 2 minutes. You put too much strain into joints, you'd lose form. It's just not what we want right now. We want happy, healthy, functioning bodies, not bodies that have been overstretched and overworked. That's it. And we're nearly there. Okay, that's it. And then sit back onto your heels, stretching yourselves out. One more little exercise, she says, on her hands. You can, again, go onto your knuckles. We're just going to do 4 press-ups. Only 4. So, on your knees or up on your toes. I'm going to be on my knees. This is the intermediate class. You're going to push down and then push back up and then sit back onto your heels in between each one. Of course, if you want to increase the strength element of this exercise, you can come up onto your toes. But make sure that you keep, for us, our elbows tight in towards the waist. There are various ways of doing press-ups, but this one, I want you to keep the elbows in towards the waist so you're working your triceps quite hard. And then number 4, push down, push up, and sit back. There we go. Just hang out there for a moment, stretching out the shoulders. Move your body weight, push down through one side so you're looking underneath your armpit, and then go around the other side so you're looking underneath the opposite armpit. And go again. Should feel quite nice. Okay, right, now you're going to crawl forwards, please, and I want your feet to be at the very end of the mat. We're going to get it ready for dog roll-ups. Now, those of you who you're in the studio need weights, or if you use a wedge even, you don't have to do a full roll-up. Just go to your point of tension, i.e. when you feel your feet are going to lift up off the floor, then you come straight back up again. But we're all going to start together by putting our hands behind our legs like this, holding on, lengthening through the spine, trying to release all that tension out of the shoulders. Breathe in, and then as you breathe out, tuck your tailbone under and round your back. And then come back up again, sit up tall. Now, throughout the duration of this whole exercise, it's very important that you don't let your chin drop down towards your chest too much. Always imagine you've got a distance of about an orange or a grapefruit underneath that chin. That way you do not run the risk of pulling your neck muscles. Now, release your hands out in front. Tilt. You're coming off the sit bones, rolling onto the coccyx, then into the lower back. You almost feel the pelvis lifting up off the floor. Breathe out. Hands go over your head. Breathe in deeply, and then as you breathe out, hands come back over your head, and you peel yourselves up with absolute control. Lengthen your legs away, reach over towards your feet. Sit up tall. Down you go. Down, 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 down. Hands go over your head. Breathe in. As you breathe out, hands come back over. Peel yourselves all the way back up. Reach over towards your feet. Let's repeat that. Down, tilt, peel. The other thing you can do, if you're struggling with the roll up, this is what, number 3? You can put a little towel behind you just here. That is enough for some people just to assist with the lifting up. But it is better to do a half roll up than it is a full roll up. Better to do the exercise properly than badly, even if that means you only go halfway. Last one, sitting up tall. Make this your best one. Tilt and peel down. That's it. That's lovely. Hands go over your head. Breathe in. As you breathe out, hands back over. Peeling up, sitting up tall. Right, now We're going to do some rotation. So rotate around, look down towards the elbow and then come back up again. The arms do, it's a little bit like a dab or a Usain Bolt salute, you know what I mean? Or pulling of a bow and arrow, pulling back, looking towards the elbow behind you. Try and keep your legs so they are completely parallel. You shouldn't be lifting one foot off or one buttock off at the moment, and then rotate around looking towards your elbow and then come back up. And then the other side and come back up. Good work. And then we're going to go all the way down to the mat. So just peel yourselves all the way down. We're going to stay there this time. Hands come down by your sides. Feet slide in towards your bottom. Knees are bent, please. Now, just tilt your pelvis forwards and backwards. Make sure you are in neutral. If you need a quick reminder of that, or more than a quick reminder, please have a look at the other video that I have put together for you. Now, I want everyone to put their back hand underneath their lower back and the opposite hand on the lowest sort of area of your tummy, sort of above your pubic bone, but between your two hip bones there. Now, what I want you to do is to tilt your pubic bone towards you and feel your spine pushing down into your hand. That is imprint. We are going to be doing some work in imprint in a moment, but now lift your tummy off, tilt your pelvis, and tilt your tailbone away so you have an sort of exaggerated arch underneath your back. And then return until the point, you reach the point where this area, the triangle area between your hip bones and your pubic bone, is now completely parallel with the floor. That is your neutral spine. Now, just keep your hand underneath your back. The other hand can go down by your side just for a moment. It's important this, because I want you to feel the muscles on each side of your spine and make sure they are not kicking in. Your tummy's got to do all this work, not your back. Your back, this is training your tummy, okay? Training the core. We'll do some back work later, don't worry. Breathe in, and then as you breathe out, squeeze your abdominal muscles. So imagine that you're trying to pull the two sides of your tummy together and the string is pulling your tummy button in. When you've got that abdominal connection, breathe in, and as you breathe out, bring your right leg up to tabletop. Your back should not have moved, and you should not be feeling your back muscles tighten in any way at all. Breathe in, and then as you breathe out, the other leg comes up to meet it. And then pop your hands down by your sides. You're just going to hang out here for another 9 full deep breaths. If you want to increase the challenge, keep breathing everybody deeply in and out. You lengthen your legs. Simple laws of physics. Lengthening the legs or lengthening the lever, increase the load. Where you bring your knees back up to tabletop. If this is too strong for you, you put one foot down, you hold it there for a couple of breaths, and then you swap over. But whatever happens, you've got to keep your spine in neutral. You've got to keep your abdominal muscles engaged. No doming of the tummy, please. If you feel that your tummy is doming, you need to put one foot down or bring it back in a step. Right, I'm not sure which breath you're on now, but let's just do 2 more very deep breaths. Breathing in and out, and in and out. Nice work. Now pop your feet down onto the floor, put your arms out wide, and we're going to let your legs drop over to your right hand side, look towards your left. Oh, that feels nice. And then up and over the other side. Perfect. And then up and over and up and over. Okay, let's continue with some abdominals. So I'd like you to bring one knee in towards you and then the other knee. You hug both knees. Lift your head and shoulders up to meet both knees, and then lengthen your right leg bit away from you. And then swap 1, swap 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Both knees in and out. And 2. If your neck is feeling tired, please place your head down onto the floor, but make sure you have a good distance underneath your chin, please, so you're not pulling your chin down towards your chest. Last one, pull in and breathe out. That's it. Head goes down. Release your feet back down onto the floor. We're going to do a little bit more of abdominal work. Place your hands behind your head, open your elbows out wide. We're doing the crisscross. This is a challenging exercise, but I know you can do it. You're going to bring one knee in and then the other knee comes in. Lift your head and shoulders up to meet those knees. Reach your right leg away and then twist your right elbow towards your left knee. And then swap 1, swap 2, swap 3, swap 4. Breathe in and out. Keep going. 3. That's it. Last 1. And release your feet back down to the floor. Hands release as well. Now, shoulder bridges. Really, another really good exercise to release any sort of residual tension out of your backs. It's not a bad way to start a day, to be honest, a shoulder bridge. It just eases out the back after a night's sleep. So, start in neutral, please. And then tilt your tailbone so your pubic bone comes towards you, and then you lift your tailbone off the floor and your hips lift up 1 vertebra at a time. And then you peel back down again 1 vertebrae at a time. I want you to try not squeezing your glutes at this stage. You're just trying to articulate through that spine as much as possible. And then back down again. And go again. That's it. It's not a big movement, but it's a super effective movement in getting the spine to move. And then back down. That's it. Now, I do want you to engage your glutes. This time, make sure those shoulders are relaxed. Peel your hips up. Hips push up. If you need to support your hips with your hands, now is the time to do it. But you're going to bring your right leg up to tabletop and point that leg up towards the ceiling. Make sure those hips stay square. No hip drops, please. And push the leg up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Flex your foot. Lower your leg down. Point your toes. Snap it up. Flex. Drop. Point. Back up. Flex. Drop. Point. Back up. Last 1. That foot goes down. Let's lift the other foot up straight away. Point that leg up towards the ceiling. And again, push the hips up. 8, 7, 6. Squeeze the glute. 4, 3, 2, 1. Flex your foot. Lower your heel down. Point your toe back up. Flex. Drop. Point and back up. 3 and 4. Foot goes down. Peel your hips all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Good work. Just roll ever so gently from side to side. Okay, and now you are going to roll over onto your sides for a little bit of side work. So, line yourself up on your mats. You need to be in one super long line. You can bring your hand up like this, but if you're struggling with the balance, your hand comes down onto the mat in front of you, please. So, hand up, and what I'd like you to do is to lift both legs up first of all. That's it, and then drop them down. And 2, drop them down. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then with your legs lifted up, the top leg comes up and down. And 2, 3, 4, it's slow. It's controlled. Nice, good work. Now that hand needs to come down onto the mat in front of you. Release both legs down. You should feel that waist has just worked really quite hard. You're going to bend your top knee and draw it over your body, and then lift the leg up underneath and push 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That leg goes down. And then you swap over legs. So now you bend your knee underneath so it serves like a sort of stabilizing anchor, as it were. Hover your other leg off the floor so it's parallel with the floor. Flex your foot, kick that leg all the way forwards, point your toe, draw it back. Flex, pull it forwards, point, draw it back. Flex, forwards, point, back. Last, point and back. Release that leg all the way down, and then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So up you go, over you go, or just roll over and lie down. Releasing out, stretching out. Now again, hand goes up towards the ceiling. Make sure your alignment is right. So on this side, I find that this hip wants to kick up like that a little bit, so I need to just make sure that my hips are square, okay? This hip bone needs to be on top of that one. They're called your aces, by the way. I'll be testing you when you come back to the studio, don't worry. And then you're going to lift both legs up and down, and 2, 3, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Stay up there. And 1, 2. I'm a little bit more wobbly on this side than I was on the other. Perfectly normal. There we go, that's the last one. And then again, you're going to bend the knee in front, hand goes down in front of you, and you lift the leg up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That leg goes down. Let's swap them over. So your knee underneath is now your sort of stabilizer. Other leg comes up. Flex your foot, kick it forwards, point your toe, push it back. Flex, forwards, point, push it back. Flex, forwards, point, push it back. Flex, forwards, point, push it back. Last one. Drop that foot down, roll over onto your fronts, get ready for a little bit of back work. Okay, important with back work, you should never feel a pinching sensation in your spine at all. If you do, you need to take it down a notch and just lower yourselves back down to the mat. Please make sure that you keep your hip bones here fixed on the floor. I don't want them to lift up, please. We're going to start by putting your hands higher up on your mat. Your shoulders should be nice and soft and loose, but I want you to breathe in and basically start lifting your head and then your chest up off the floor. And then breathe out and release down. Breathe in, come up. Breathe out, come down. Breathe in, come up. Breathe out, come down. Breathe in, come up. And then out, come down. You shouldn't be using your hands very much at all when you do that. So in this last one, come up, lift your hands up. Can you hold it? And then release yourselves all the way down. And then slide your hands further down. So your hands are at now about shoulder height. And we're going to repeat that movement. Almost do it in 3 stages. First stage, lift your head and chest up off the floor as much as you can without pushing through the hands. Then you ever so gently push through the hands so you come up into an extension. You don't have to straighten your elbows. Make sure your shoulders are away from your ears, and you're going to just hold this stretch here for a second. Breathe in and out. And then lower yourselves all the way back down again. You're going to repeat that movement. Breathe in, come up, using just those back muscles, and then push through your hands to come all the way up. Maybe you can go a little bit higher this time, but take it carefully. And then breathe out as you release back down to the floor. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathe in, come up. Then push through your hands when you can't come up any higher, all the way up. Feeling a nice stretch in the abdominals as well. Breathe out as you release back down again. And go again, breathe in, come up. Push through your hands, come all the way up. And breathe out to come back down. Nice. Now we're going to do a little bit of rotation. So hands down by your sides. Hands are at about shoulder width on each side, so about where they were before. And you're going to come up and rotate towards your right hand side. Again, keeping both hip bones down on the floor, release down. And then go again, come up, rotate around through the other side and back. And do 1 more. Up and down. And then up and down. Keep going with that. You should be feeling your lower back muscles on each side, just above where the sort of back of your pelvis is. That's the muscle we're trying to get to. Last one on this side. And then push through your hands. Come back up to sitting, and you need to sit back on your heels, please. Now, normally in the class, we stretch legs out using bands. I will do another class where you will use a band, or if you don't have a band at home, you can use a dressing gown cord or a belt even. But for the moment, we're just going to use our bodies to stretch out your legs. So let's get your left leg forwards first of all, and we're going to stretch out your hip flexors again. I know we did them at the beginning of the class, but we're going to do them at the end as well. It's a really vital muscle to stretch out. You have just been strengthening that muscle, so now we need to lengthen. A muscle, to perform to its optimum ability, has to have strength and length. Breathe in as you breathe out, just sink a little bit deeper into that stretch. Nice, good work. My hair's gone completely disheveled, have to excuse me. I'm not used to being on video. Okay. And then release that out. This time, I want your leg to go forwards. Toes up towards you if you possibly can. I know some of you who have super tight hamstrings, this is a challenge. So your toes can go down a little bit if you want to. Take it carefully, hands down by the sides. Okay, if that is too strong, you can just stretch out like that though, all right? Otherwise, hands down by there. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just sink a little bit further into the stretch, wherever you are. High or low, that's fine. Now, keep your toes pointing up towards the ceiling and your knee pointing towards that foot. And then move your hands on the inside and bend your elbows. So you're moving more onto the inside of the thigh now with a stretch. Keep going, keep breathing into that stretch. Nice. Should feel good. Release that out, and then we're going to go and onto the other side. So right foot forwards, and let's stretch out your hip flexor on your other side. I do hope everyone is keeping well. This homeschooling thing is proving challenging, but I'll get there. I'll be spending all my time up here whilst they're inside fighting. No, it's not that bad. Just get into that big stretch. That's it. And then release down. Foot comes up, release over. Hamstring stretch. Again, if it's too strong with your hands on the floor, you can be here, that's fine. But I'm going to be on the hands on the floor. And I need to push my foot a little bit further away as well. And then bring your hands to the center and go down a little bit further. Oh, that feels tight on me today. All the way down that line there. Sorry, I'm not looking towards you. Excellent. And then release that foot all the way back. Now, we are done. Thank you very, very much for watching. I really hope that I'll see you back in the studio as soon as possible. If you've got any questions, give me a call. I'm still on the end of the phone. I'm still looking at my emails, WhatsApps. So stay in touch, and I hope to see you back here as soon as physically possible. Thank you. Bye.